Hello, everyone, and thanks for attending our session. I am Paulo, Sales and Alliances Manager here at Answer Modules. And today I'd like to illustrate why our product, the Module Suite, is a go-to solution for creating personalizations and customizations on Content Suite, even if you're going to be migrating to the Cloud Edition. So before going into that, I'd just like to spend just one slide on explaining what makes this topic, so today's topic's more relevant than ever. The answer is actually quite simple. With Content Suite 20.3, if you have any custom modules, and I presume the majority of you do, these won't continue working as in previous upgrades. Starting with 20.3, these custom modules will actually need to be recompiled. Obviously, this brings a whole host of complexity and effort to the table. Therefore, now is really the perfect moment to evaluate new tools for your Content Suite, or CSP for short, your CSP projects and developments. And needless to say, any new tool that you adopt needs to be future-proof, and Module Suite is just that. So what is Module Suite? I'm going to give you a very high-level, quick definition of it. Module Suite is a fully integrated add-on solution that provides you with all the tools and assets and technology necessary to really rapidly create tailored solutions and tailored business applications on top of Content Suite. With Module Suite, you can essentially enhance and extend the standard functionality while also tailoring the platform so that it meets your business's very specific requirements. Now, our customer actually shortened that explanation into a very few words, and the way that he put it was, Module Suite allows you to do more with less effort and deliver awesome results at the end of the day. So Module Suite was actually created from the very beginning with the idea of a growing value, and obviously this has been a constant with our R&D. In fact, the team, they release a new version on a quarterly basis, and with each version, we're always adding new features and functionality. We'll see a couple examples of this later on. But just to give you a quick example right now, actually 2 releases ago, we added a whole new, brand new tool within the Module Suite. And we'll see what that was on the next slides. Now, as mentioned earlier, Module Suite is and needs to be a future-proof technology. And the best way of explaining this is really through an example. Now, one of our very first customers started utilizing Module Suite while they were on version 10 of Content Suite. Now, they subsequently upgraded to version 10.5 and then to 16.2. Now, throughout all these upgrades, the personalizations and applications that they built with Module Suite, they kept on working seamlessly. They did not need to go back and reinvest and re-engineer in them. They just kept on working. Now, before moving on to the tools that are within the Module Suite, I'd like to point out that it's actually the first third-party technology that's certified for the OT Cloud. So that means that if you are on the OT Cloud or you'll be moving to it, with Module Suite, you'll still be able to have a degree of flexibility with your platform. Now, Module Suite, as I mentioned, is a collection of tools, technology, etc., but it's really composed of 4 main modules. Now, the first is Beautiful Web Forms, which is an enhancement to the standard form framework. And this is actually the most advanced form solution available for Content Suite. So with it, you'll be able to create very powerful and very good-looking ergonomic forms for pretty much any business requirement. And then we have Content Script. This is the first genuine scripting engine dedicated to Content Suite. Ultimately, it allows you to implement any sort of customizations, automations, integrations, and a lot more. We'll see these in the slides as well. Then we have Smart Pages, which is that latest module that we added. And it's a tool dedicated to crafting highly productive interfaces that end users will love at the end of the day. And last but not least, the 4th module is Script Console, which is a standalone runtime environment for the other components of the Module Suite. Now, the module suite also has different extensions and integrations, such as integration with Teams, Zoom, and a productized integration with DocuSign as well. So far, we've talked about the module suite as a tool set for creating applications, but obviously there are more fine-grained use cases. The use cases are quite varied, but for today, let's focus on the most common ones. So when it comes to forms, the module suite, as I mentioned, is all about being able to deliver the most complete, dynamic, and good-looking forms to the line of business for any use case. And we'll see what this entails in, again, finer detail on the next slides. Now, next up is integrations. Facilitating or enabling integrations is another key aspect, or another common use cases of the module suite. And we've seen this being utilized to integrate CSP with third-party technologies, as well as customers' homegrown systems or legacy systems as well. Now, automation. Automation is a recurring theme that we have with the module suite. And this is because we're able to automate any task or process, really regardless of its complexity, all with the end objective of boosting productivity at the end of the day. Now, on fourth place, let's say, is workflows. So with workflows, the goal of module suite is really simplification. By being able to add your own tailored steps, you'll be able to really create simplified, much more streamlined workflows that are 100% aligned to the way that your business truly operates. And last but not least is user experience. So thanks to our tools, in particular, Smart Pages, it's super fast, super easy, and super convenient to personalize the standard interface or create tailored dashboards that are aligned to end users' expectations. So these are the primary use cases of the module suite from a very high level. So throughout the next slides, I'll go into more detail on each one of these, but we'll be starting from forms. So as mentioned, Beautiful Web Form enhances the standard form engine. What Beautiful Web Forms adds is a low-coding visual drag and drop form builder. And this form builder, it comes with a very large library of ready to configure widgets. So by taking this low-coding and drag and drop approach and essentially giving you the building blocks, creating and managing forms is now something that even non-technical users can accomplish on their own. But besides making it easy to create them, we're also adding new capabilities, obviously, to forms, such as personalized and very complex validations. So this sort of enhanced validation helps really to ensure the correctness of the information that is being collected, but also provides end users guidance when they're filling out the forms. And Beautiful Web Forms also allows you to really fine-tune the look and feel of a form so that it's consistent with your business's guidelines as well. Now, another capability that Beautiful Web Forms brings to the table is the possibility of adding automation to a form, as well as integrating external data sources as well. A simple example of this could be a drop-down field that fetches data from a DB. And once the user selects a line item, other fields in that form are automatically populated. So the underlying idea of having automation and integrating external data sources is really to render forms a lot more intelligent and also render their usage a lot more productive as well. Now, besides creating forms to be utilized from within Content Suite, within CSP, we also make it easy to create forms that can be utilized on mobile devices, even in offline scenarios. Obviously, this is a very big plus for any industry that has field workers working in very remote regions. So the idea is to really provide a seamless form experience, even if the user is accessing that form from a mobile device. And then also having that form kick off any sort of process, any sort of workflow, any sort of automation within Content Suite once it's submitted from the field. Now, thanks to the module suite, we can also utilize forms as a new tool for interacting with the system. And this is because forms can be embedded directly within the Smart View. So this makes their access and their usage truly seamless in pretty much any context within Content Suite. So with this capability, forms are no longer a way of just collecting information or processing information. This way, forms can also become the primary interface with which the end users interact with Content Suite, with the system. Now, keeping on the topic of Smart View, but moving to a different use case, in this case, it's UIs. With the Smart Pages component, you can create highly tailored dashboards that surface only the relevant information and only the relevant tasks that your end users actually require or that they actually need to accomplish their task at hand. And the best thing is that the creation of these tailored dashboards, it can be done through a low-coding drag and drop editor, just like with forms. And you can also mix and match the standard Smart View components with your own tailored tiles as well. So at the end of the day, the result are UIs that are perfectly aligned. They perfectly match what your line of business is expecting and what their requirements are. So far I've talked about the Smart View. However, we haven't forgotten about our old friend, the classic UI. And a lot of the benefits we bring to the Smart View can also be had on the classic UI as well. So customizing the UI and creating tailored dashboards are still 100% possible. Now, switching to our third primary use cases, in this case, it's workflows. As mentioned earlier, with workflows, the goal of Module Suite is really simplification and providing flexibility in workflow design. And this goal is obtained by adding your own custom workflow steps, while you're designing that workflow. So this allows you to add, or let's say inject, your own business logic, your own automations, your own routing mechanism, etc., directly within the workflow. And in the screenshots that you see on the screen, you can really see the outcome to this. And this is actually a real customer's case. Obviously, it's a before and after picture. So the before was a workflow that was 125, not 128 steps to be precise. And the customer actually re-engineered this workflow, and the outcome was a workflow that was just 8 steps. Now, this does not mean they lost any sort of functionality. In fact, they actually added functionality even with less steps. And a very interesting thing to note is this re-engineering process, it only took them 1 day. So in 1 day, they went from a huge, unwieldy 128-step workflow to an 8-step workflow, which is very streamlined, very easy to understand, interpret, and maintain in the long run. And they actually added new functionality as well. Another enhancement we bring to workflow, and this is really tied to beautiful web forms, is the possibility of creating forms, which the line of business utilizes to interact with the workflow. In fact, these forms, they can become essentially the sole point of contact for your users when they're working with a workflow. Now, besides inputting or verifying the data, with forms, users can also view or easily view the information extracted directly from the workflow, or also extracted from the workflow attachments as well. So in fact, on the screenshot, we're just seeing in the comments some information extracted from the Word documents attached to this specific workflow. Now, switching again to another use case. This case will be, and for next slides, we'll be talking about integrations. Now, when it comes to Content Suite integrations, Module Suite is about enabling and making them easier. This is really thanks to Module Suite's ability to interact with various data sources, such as DBs, file shares, ERPs, and pretty much any application that exposes SOAP web services or REST APIs. Now, as I mentioned at the very beginning, we also have integrations with Teams, Zoom, a productized integration with DocuSign, and the R&D team is also working on integrations with Core Signature as well as Core Share. So again, that idea that Module Suite keeps growing over time. So with each release, we're adding new integrations, we're adding new functionality, etc. Now, last but not least, on the topic of integration with the Module Suite, the standard Content Suite REST APIs, these can be extended, and these can be extended by configuring and deploying new endpoints. Essentially, this allows for other business systems to interact with Content Suite with a minimal overhead. And if necessary, we can also integrate with cloud services in a secure and isolated manner as well. We can do this by deploying the application in a disconnected external system and pull data directly from Content Suite. Now, moving on to the final use case, but by no means the least important, the topic of automation. So our enhanced automation capabilities, or the Module Suites, our enhanced automation capabilities, they're primarily due to the fact that Module Suite really greatly extends the number of APIs available. So we're currently, with our latest release, we're currently looking at a little over 5,000 APIs. So you have a requirement, you need something, we most likely have an API for that. So this large number of APIs, we allow for the direct control of integrated external systems, as well as the automation of pretty much any action that is available through the Content Suite GUI. And like I mentioned about integrations, with each release, we're also adding new APIs. But this does not mean that you're blocked into what we provide. Customers can also add their own thanks to a dedicated SDK as well. Now, automations, they can also become reactive, meaning that they occur in response to a specific event and or trigger. So some of these events or triggers could be a file being uploaded, a change in the metadata, or a new version of a document being added. And with the extensive APIs, you can really define custom automations for, again, pretty much any event or any scenario. Now, these are automations that happen in the background and which greatly facilitate the line of business and their interaction with Content Suite and in general with the system. Now, automations aren't just beneficial to the line of business, they are any CSP admin's best friend. Essentially, bulk and repetitive tasks such as permission updates, massive updates to workspaces, audit reporting, etc., all these can be automated thanks to the Module Suite. And therefore, it can greatly reduce the workload, but more importantly, it can also greatly reduce errors as well. So those were some insights into the Module Suite's primary use cases. So we look at forms, UI personalization and enhancements, workflows, integrations, and automations. But before wrapping up our session, I'd like to discuss one more point. So you've probably noticed that I mentioned the term low coding several times throughout the presentation. And this is actually a central theme and one of Module Suite's greatest strengths. So when developing an application, personalization, customization with Module Suite, you're never starting from scratch and you're not utilizing any proprietary languages. So there's no dependency on NoScript, web reports, etc. So thanks to the fact that we're not using proprietary languages, we're taking a low coding approach, and that you're never starting from scratch, you're always building on top of something, we've seen that the majority of resources, the majority of people, they're able to become productive with the module suite in a matter of 5 days. And this is broken down into 2 days of training and 3 days of hands-on exercises. So in 1 work week, a technical user can become fully productive with the module suite. Now, the low coding approach not only makes development easier and faster, but it also allows organizations to adopt a truly agile methodology, which is just simply not really possible with the standard, let's say, quote unquote, standard approach or standard tools we have to this day. So by employing an agile methodology, requirements, they can be deployed and tested and modified directly with the line of business in pretty much real time. So you're seeing the use cases and the module suite and the benefits of module suite, they're truly vast. This is why we say that module suite is like a Swiss Army knife and pretty much the only add-on for your Content Suite enhancements and projects. So the only add-on that you'll need. Now, before wrapping up, I just want to share with you the promo code for this event. We're offering a 30% discount on training to our first 10 organizations that present us the promo code on the screen. So with that, I'd like to thank you very much for your time. I hope this session was informative. And if you have any questions, obviously, please feel free to let us know through the chat in our virtual booth. Thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the virtual expo.